Assalamu alaikum. I am Miss Shahnaz from Sadken Grammar School. Welcome to Distance Learning Program. Today is our fourth lecture of Class 8O Science. Topic of discussion today will be from same chapter Environmental Chemistry, and the topics are certainty, how soil is formed from rock particles, pioneer plants, what soil contains, formation of humus, soil pH. At the south of Iceland, a volcanic eruption occurred, and that is called Surtsey. Surtsey is a, it is a pile of basalt which reached the height of 172 meter above the sea level. Basalt is igneous rock. It is very dark in color. It is a very common type of rock in Earth's crust and make up most of the ocean floor. Basalt forms when lava reaches the Earth's surface at the temperature between in 1100 to 1250, and when it gets to the surface, it cools and it takes time, like a few weeks to couple of weeks. Now this thick lava it solidified itself, and with the time it had eroded also by the furious by the waves of the Atlantic Ocean. Courtesy, there have been changes in this new island, and now there is a thin layer of soil in some places, and in some places you can see the plant also. Now the scientists which started researching on this island, they have observed that the seeds were carried by the ocean current. Then they have found the fungus, the bacteria, and molds. Then there were the vascular plants they also found to be growing there. Now there are bryophytes, vascular plants, fungi, lichens, and they also found some species of the birds there. And after that, you can also find the invertebrates. So it is like a have become like a research center for the scientists. Soil is considered a non-renewable resource. Why? Because it does not renew itself at sufficient rate in human time frame. 1 centimeter of soil can take hundreds to thousands of years to form from parent rock. Soil it provides most of the nutrients needed for plant growth and also helps purify water. Soil is considered a non-renewable resource. Why? Because it does not renew itself at sufficient rate in human time frame. 1 centimeter of soil can take hundreds to thousands of years to form from parent rock. Soil it provides most of the nutrients needed for plant growth and also helps purify water. Weathering. Weathering is the breakdown of rocks at the Earth's surface by the action of rainwater, extremes of temperature, and biological activity. We can say that the weathered rock in a soil at some point it is started as a bigger rock or as a large boulder. When in the process of weathering, they turned into the size of particles of rock becomes smaller and smaller, and the boulders turn to the large rocks and then to the smaller pieces of rock. Now this diagram shows us the parent material, that is the rock. The agents of weathering, you can see they are wind, rain, hail, and ice. And then again either it is heat or cold on the basis of that the mechanical weathering is happening, and sometimes the other one is the chemical weathering. Chemical weathering, we have done the acid rain is also responsible for it, the moisture is also responsible for it, and then there is a biological weathering, that is due to the growth of the plants, that is action of the plants and their rotting which remains under the and their remains which keep in the soil. Water in either liquid or solid form is often a key agent of mechanical weathering, or we can say physical weathering. For instance, liquid water can seep into cracks and crevices in rock. If temperature drop low enough, the water will freeze. When water freezes, it expands. The ice then works as a wedge. It slowly widens the cracks and splits the rock. When the ice melts, liquid water performs the act of erosion by carrying away the tiny rock fragments lost in the split. The specific process, that is the freeze thaw cycle, is called frost weathering. This is also a type of weathering. You can see that it is a honeycomb like structure, which honeycomb weathering, and it is mostly found in the coastal regions. We live on a green planet. Today we may take them for granted, but plants are the most important living things on earth. What were the first of these tough green pioneers, and how did they first find their way into the land? We all know, as we have read the history, that millions of years ago, everything existed under the sea. They are also included photosynthetic organism known as cyanobacteria. They are the simple as other organism, that is single cell. Unlike other organisms, these cells contain chlorophyll, the green pigment used to absorb light energy. These little organisms, they are known as to capture the sunlight, make the food, and expel the oxygen as a waste products. They remain dominant form of photosynthetic life for billions of years ago. Then comes the other little organism, that is blue green algae. They are also turning the sunlight into food, and they survived for again billions of years ago. The first ancestor of land plants which evolved from the green algae nearly 500 million ago are non-vascular plants. They are mosses and liverworts. They die if there is no dampness around them, and they cannot survive without the contact of water. Okay, so much we have learned about the weathering of the rocks. Now, what the soil contains after we have done the weathering? It contains the rock fragments. It contains plant and animal remains and animal waste. The type of the soil that is formed, it depends on the source of the weathered rock and the amount of the organic matter. The color, again, the color of the soil will depend largely on the weathered rock and the type of the organic matter. When we look at the soil, that is, if we just put it in the water and after and keep it in the shelf for some time, we see that soil have different structures and they let water through them in different ways. Sandy soils have large grains that allow water to drain quickly through them, and clay soils have very fine particles. They pack the closely together so water cannot go through them. So different soils give different characteristics of their own. Now the other part is the humus, that is the organic matter that was once life, that is living. How it is found formed, that is one of the most important thing which we have going to learn here. There is a lot of leaves, and there are a lot of plants and the dead organisms. All these materials, they decay with the help of the decomposers. They decay with the help of decomposers, and decomposers are the microorganisms which are inside the soil. Their activities include, like the microorganisms include both bacteria and the fungi. What are their activities? They break down the dead organism so that nutrient from these can be used by the new plants. The other thing the bacteria can do, they are converting the chemicals that are harmful to some plant, such as nitrogen, into nutrients. Okay, that are good for the plants. Then comes the fungi. Fungi are also very good decomposers. They absorb their nutrients from the organisms. Okay, then they decompose and they release the enzymes that cause dead plants and animals to rot or decompose. Now look, life in the soil, full of living organisms. You can easily see they are saying that if we have 100 gram of dead organic residue or soil that contains residue of the plants, yellowing leaves, decaying animals, and other things. Now they are decomposed, and you have the bunch of microorganisms, the 3 to 8 gram. Now what they do, they decompose all the 3 to 8 gram of compounds and the humic compounds that is very dead, and then they released the carbon dioxide plus the energy and the nutrients. There are other animals living in the soil which are equally very important for the fertility of the soil as uh, the other ones, that is as the bacteria and the fungi. For example, there are worms, that is earthworms, centipedes, beetles, snails. Now what they do, like moles, they borrow, and the other movement they create, by the movement they create a space in the soil for the air and water. Now again, the soil needs both air and water, and both are also essential for the plant life. Then they also eat the dead plant and animal matter and return the nutrient back to the soil. Soil pH. Soil pH, we all know what is the pH. It is to determine the acidity or alkalinity of a given substance or the soil. Now here the soil pH is the single most important chemical property of the soil. Like soil textures is a physical quantity. So to know the pH of the soil is very important. That determines the fertility and the biological activity of your soil. Okay, so a healthy productive farm is created from the good planning along with the testing of the soil pH. Farmers need to know about the pH. Now let's go the thinking question, why the pH is important. First is the bacterial activity. Bacterial activity that releases nitrogen from organic matter, and certain fertilizers is particularly they are affected by the soil pH. Why? The bacteria, they best grow at the and they best operate at the range of 5.5 to 7.0. Then comes the plant nutrients that leach out the soils with the pH, mostly around 5, and that between 5 to 7.5. Then comes the plant nutrients that is also available at the range of 5.5 to 6.5. Aluminum may become toxic to the plant because they are present in the soils when the soil is below 5.0. Okay, so all these things give us the important for the farmer to know. The other thing is very important that farmers should know the particular plant and range of the pH. As you can see there that some plants prefer one pH, the other plant prefer the other soil or the other pH for their growth. So the farmers should know all of these things. You have seen the video about the activity, how we detected the pH of the soil in our school garden. It was also 7. It was the nearly to neutral. Then now comes to the amending the soil. If our soil, suppose it is too acidic, then the certain nutrients will become less available for the plant. So what we will do? Normally lime or dolomite is used to increase the pH. Okay, lime contains mainly calcium carbonate, and dolomite contains both calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. Okay, as you have seen, now the reaction is going on with the calcium carbonate and the acid of the soil, and in return you get the calcium salts, carbon dioxide is released, and the water. Okay, then the second part of it, that is, if sometimes, not always, the soil is alkaline, but if sometimes the soil is alkaline or if the pH is high, then what you will do? Either it is applied with the some type of ammonium phosphate, or you can whatever it is written, you can apply that and maintain the pH of the your soil. Adjusting your soil's pH, add only the recommended amount of any product as indicated by the soil test. So first you will go to the soil test. You use your letters technique, anything like that, to make an effective pH change without going too much in opposite direction. Means one pH scale is single digit change, say from 5 to 6. It translates as a tenfold change in the acidity or alkalinity. There is a home assignment. I hope you are enjoying going through my videos and also doing the home assignments. I also enjoyed very much, and inshallah, we will meet again in our classes. The soil which we call as a humus. Look at, it is rich. It has some root particles. Look at, you can find everything in it. Now to collect this soil, and main thing is that I want to know the pH of this humus. Yes, take it and let's see what is the pH. We will go to the lab and then we will check it. Yes, this is today we are going to do the activity of South Ken Grammar School activity. That is, we are going to detect the soil sample of the garden soil. We have garden soil, we have tomato soil, and we have the school garden soil. We have collected all three. I have shown you how I have collected. Then what I did, I have made the dilutions of all these samples. Sample 1, sample 2 and sample 3. We kept it they remained there for half an hour. So that clear upper stack you can see, that is so I collected that upper one here, and then I used a dropper and put 1 or 2 drop on the litmus paper just to detect the color of the litmus paper. Okay, now here the pH is showing no color change. It is a pink color. Look at the color. This is slightly acidic, this is very light acidic, and this is showing a little bit change in the color, but that is also not very active.